Have you ever noticed something uncomfortable? Earning money feels possible, even logical, but saving money feels heavy. You can imagine working harder, getting a raise, changing jobs, learning a skill, but when someone says, just save more, it feels unrealistic, almost insulting. And this is strange because saving should be easier than earning. It doesn't require interviews, it doesn't require bosses, it doesn't require overtime. Yet for millions of households, saving money feels harder than making money. Let's talk about why. Not with motivation, not with budgeting tricks, but with reality. Imagine a normal situation. A student who just entered the workforce, a young professional, someone in the US or Europe. They earn about $60,000 a year, or 40,000 euros. On paper, that sounds solid, but after tax, that number shrinks fast. What actually hits the bank account might be closer to $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Now, life starts taking its share. Rent or a mortgage comes first, not optional. Then transportation, a car payment, public transport, insurance. Then student loans, credit cards, utilities, groceries. None of this feels extreme. Nothing feels irresponsible. This isn't luxury spending. This is just life. And by the time the month settles, what's left feels small. Sometimes very small. So when someone says, just save 10%, it doesn't feel like advice. It feels disconnected. Here's the first uncomfortable truth. Saving money does not fail because people lack discipline. It fails because of structure. Most people are not paid to save. They're paid to spend first. Rent is automatic. Loans are automatic. Bills are automatic. Saving is what's left, and what's left is usually whatever the system didn't already claim. That alone makes saving feel harder than earning, because earning happens before life touches the money. Saving happens after. Now, let's look at something deeper. When income increases, saving should become easier, but for many people it doesn't. In fact, it sometimes becomes harder. Why? Because income growth quietly changes expectations. When you earn more, life doesn't say, good job, now relax. Life says, now this level is normal. You move to a slightly better place. You upgrade transportation. You improve comfort. Not luxury, just normal. But normal has a cost. And once a cost becomes normal, it stops feeling optional. That's the trap. Let's use simple math. Imagine two people. Person A earns $3,000 a month after tax. Their fixed costs are $2,400. They have $600 of flexibility. Person B earns $4,000 a month after tax. Their fixed costs rise to $3,500. They now have $500 of flexibility. Person B earns more, but has less freedom. This is why saving feels harder even as income grows. The problem is not income, it's fixed commitments. Psychologically, this hits even harder. Saving money requires delayed reward, and the human brain hates delayed reward. When you earn money, the reward is immediate. When you spend money, the reward is immediate. When you save money, nothing happens. No feeling, no excitement, no visible upgrade, just a number sitting quietly somewhere. So emotionally, saving feels like loss, not gain. You're giving up comfort now for a future version of yourself you don't fully feel yet. That's not a willpower issue, that's biology. Another reason saving feels harder is because modern life constantly reframes spending as identity. You're not just paying for convenience, you're paying for who you are. The apartment reflects your status,
The car reflects your competence. Your lifestyle reflects stability. So when you try to save, it feels like you're shrinking, like stepping backwards, even if logically you know you're doing the right thing. This creates quiet internal tension. You're earning enough, but you don't feel ahead. Over time, this has consequences, not dramatic ones, subtle ones. You stop feeling safe. You feel one problem away from stress. You feel pressure to keep earning, not to grow, but to maintain. This is when money becomes exhausting, not because there isn't enough, but because none of it feels free. Financially intelligent people don't think of saving as sacrifice. They think of it as purchasing flexibility. They don't ask, how much can I save? They ask, how much of my income is not already promised? Because money that isn't promised is power. It's choice. It's calm. Saving isn't about hoarding money. It's about reducing how much of your future is already decided. This shift changes everything. Saving stops feeling like punishment. It starts feeling like relief. Not excitement, relief. And that's the real goal. Not getting rich, not beating others, just building a life where money creates space instead of pressure. If saving feels harder than earning, you're not broken. You're responding normally to a system that prioritizes spending first and reflection last. Awareness doesn't fix everything, but it changes how you see the game. And once you see it clearly, you stop blaming yourself for rules you didn't design. If this helped you think more clearly about money, subscribe for calm, realistic conversations like this. No hype, no fear, just understanding.